All right, so today we're going to be doing a deep dive that might surprise some folks.
Okay.
It's about superhero physiques and fitness influencers
Oh, interesting.
and how things aren't always as they seem, on Instagram or in the movies.
Yeah, I think that's a topic a lot of people are interested in, but might not know that much about.
Right, and we're going to be looking at this through a YouTube video from PewDiePie.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And the video is called "Every Fitness Celebrity Influencer is Lying to You."
That's a pretty strong statement.
Yeah, and, PewDiePie might not be the first person you think of as a fitness expert or anything.
Right.
But he actually brings up some really interesting points about this whole, image versus reality thing.
I can see that.
So do you think most people realize, how common steroid use is, especially among celebrities and influencers?
I think there's a growing awareness, but there's still a lot of misinformation out there. People see these incredible transformations and they just assume it's all hard work and dedication. But the truth is that genetics and, potentially steroids often play a significant role.
So basically, PewDiePie's argument is that a lot of these fitness influencers and actors, especially the ones playing superheroes, they might be using steroids, but they're not always upfront about it.
Right, and that's where the problem lies, because it creates this illusion of attainability. Leading fans to believe that they can achieve similar results naturally through just diet and exercise alone.
It sets up unrealistic expectations.
Absolutely, and it can be incredibly misleading, especially for younger audiences who idolize these figures.
Right, they see Chris Hemsworth or whoever looking jacked, and they're like, oh, if he can do it, I can do it too.
Exactly, and they don't realize that there might be more to the story than meets the eye.
He even calls out Chris Hemsworth's fitness app specifically.
Oh, really?
Where Hemsworth promotes this natural way to get a physique like his. But if steroids are part of the equation, then that message becomes kind of misleading, don't you think?
Absolutely. It's one thing to personally choose to use steroids, but marketing a physique as attainable through purely natural means, when that might not be the whole story, it raises some serious ethical questions.
Yeah, what about the people who are trying to achieve something that might not even be physically possible without chemical assistance?
Yeah, you're setting them up for disappointment and potentially even harm.
And it's not just about the transformations themselves. PewDiePie also talks about the pressure on actors to meet these physical expectations of superhero roles.
Right.
Even if it means compromising their health.
Yeah, that's a really important point. We often hear about the dedication and hard work these actors put in.
Yeah.
But we rarely discuss the potential long-term health risk associated with these extreme body transformations.
Especially when performance-enhancing drugs are involved.
Right.
He even brought up how Robert Pattinson initially didn't want to bulk up for the Batman.
Interesting.
And how that was perceived by some fans as not taking the role seriously enough.
It's fascinating how that resistance was met with backlash.
Yeah.
It challenges this idea that actors should be willing to do whatever it takes to embody these characters, even if it means putting their health at risk.
So it's where does personal responsibility end? And where does the responsibility of the entertainment industry begin?
Exactly. That's a really complex question, and I don't think there's an easy answer.
One thing I do appreciate about PewDiePie's video, though, is that he uses humor to make this topic more approachable.
Oh, yeah.
His vitamin gummy bears analogy for steroids.
Oh, right.
Or his imitation of those overly enthusiastic fans commenting on Chris Hemsworth's physique.
Yeah, it's a serious topic, but I think that touch of humor helps to make it more engaging for a wider audience.
For sure, because otherwise it could get really heavy really fast.
Exactly. Humor can be such a powerful tool for addressing these complex issues. It makes it feel less intimidating and more like a conversation.
And he doesn't just focus on Chris Hemsworth either. He brings up other examples, like Kumail Nanjiani's transformation for Eternals.
Oh, yeah.
Mark Wahlberg's intense workout routines. And he even points out that not all actors are eager to jump on this extreme bulking bandwagon.
All right. It's not a one-size-fits-all approach.
So it's interesting that he highlights these different examples.
It shows that there's a spectrum of approaches and attitudes within the industry.
And that it's not as black and white as it might seem.
Exactly.
So what you're saying is that even with the most intense training regimens, there's a point where those superhero physiques just aren't attainable without some form of chemical enhancement.
That's right. There are physiological limits to what the human body can achieve naturally. And while we can admire the dedication and effort these actors put in, I think it's crucial to be aware of the potential risks involved.
in pursuing those extreme physiques.
Exactly.
And that makes me think about the impact on viewers who are striving for these looks.
Yeah.
If they don't understand the full picture, they could end up pushing their bodies in unhealthy ways.
Absolutely. It's important to remember that everyone's body is different. And what works for one person might not work for another.
And comparing ourselves to these unrealistic ideals can lead to all sorts of problems.
Exactly, like feelings of inadequacy, frustration, and even body dysmorphia.
Yeah, that's a really important point, and something we'll definitely delve deeper into. But before we do, I want to touch on something else PewDiePie mentions.
Okay.
He acknowledges that there are some fitness influencers and actors who are transparent about their steroid use, and he actually respects them for it.
I think transparency is key.
Yeah.
When these individuals are open about their journeys, it helps to foster realistic expectations.
Right.
And promotes a more honest dialogue about the challenges of achieving and maintaining these physiques.
Like if you're going to do it, at least be upfront about it so that others can make informed decisions.
Exactly. That honesty can make a huge difference in how viewers perceive these transformations.
And it helps to prevent them from setting unrealistic expectations for themselves.
Right.
So what does all this mean for you, the listener? Well, first and foremost, it's about being aware of the prevalence of steroid use in the entertainment industry and recognizing that the images we see on screen and online don't always reflect the full story.
It's about developing a healthy skepticism.
Yeah.
Questioning the messages we're bombarded with, and understanding that achieving a superhero physique often involves more than just hard work and dedication.
Right.
There's a whole world of factors at play, and it's important to be informed about the potential risks and consequences.
Before making any decisions about your own fitness journey?
Exactly. You know, it's interesting to think about, like, the role of the entertainment industry in all this.
Right. Like how much responsibility do they have in, like, perpetuating these unrealistic body ideals, especially in the superhero genre?
It's almost become like an expectation now that actors will, like, completely transform their bodies.
To fit these larger-than-life characters?
Yeah, exactly. And that can create immense pressure.
Both physically and mentally.
Like, imagine you're an actor.
Right.
And you're told you need to bulk up to play a superhero.
Mm-hmm.
You're probably thinking about, like, intense workouts, strict diets.
Right.
And the pressure to achieve results quickly.
Not to mention the potential health risks.
Exactly, especially if you're pushed to extremes.
And then there's like the media frenzy around these transformations.
Oh, yeah.
Like every magazine cover and entertainment website is dissecting the actor's new physique.
Praising their dedication and hard work.
Which further reinforces the idea that this is the standard.
Right.
That this is what it takes to be a superhero.
It creates this feedback loop where the industry demands these transformations. The media glorifies them.
And the audience expects them.
Exactly.
So where do we go from here? How do we break this cycle?
Well, I think a good starting point is transparency. If there was more open discussion about the role of steroids and other performance-enhancing techniques in achieving these superhero physiques, it could help to create more realistic expectations.
It would also allow for a more nuanced conversation about the choices actors are making.
Right.
And the pressures they face.
Instead of simply praising the end result, we could be talking about the potential risks, the long-term health implications, and the ethical considerations.
And maybe it could lead to like more diverse representations of superhero bodies on screen.
Imagine a world where superheroes come in all shapes and sizes, reflecting the diversity of the real world.
It would send such a powerful message to young people.
Absolutely.
Showing them that you don't need to conform to a specific body type to be strong or heroic.
And it would challenge the notion that physical strength is the only measure of heroism.
Which is so important.
Right.
There's so many other qualities that make someone a hero.
Absolutely, like courage, compassion, intelligence, resilience. Showcasing those qualities alongside diverse body types would create a much richer and more relatable representation of heroism.
So what does all this mean for us as viewers? How can we be more critical consumers of these images and narratives?
I think it starts with awareness.
Okay.
Recognizing that what we see on screen and online isn't always an accurate reflection of reality.
Like those before and after photos you see on Instagram, promoting fitness programs or supplements.
You might not be telling the whole story.
Right. It's easy to get caught up in those aspirational images. But it's crucial to remember that everyone's body is different.
Right.
And what works for one person might not work for another.
And to be skeptical of claims that seem too good to be true.
Yeah.
If someone promises you can achieve a dramatic transformation in a short amount of time, it's worth questioning how they're defining natural and what methods they might be using.
It's about being an informed and discerning consumer.
Exactly.
Not just taking things at face value. You know, it's interesting that PewDiePie also brought up how focusing solely on building muscle can sometimes be for the wrong reasons.
That's a really insightful point.
Yeah.
Sometimes people get so caught up in the pursuit of a certain physique that they lose sight of what's truly important.
Like their overall health and well-being.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's important to approach fitness with a balanced mindset, focusing on what feels good for your body and makes you feel strong and healthy, both physically and mentally.
Rather than striving for an ideal that might not be realistic or sustainable.
Exactly.
And it's okay to admire someone's physique without feeling the pressure to replicate it.
Absolutely. Because, let's be real, not everyone is going to have Chris Hemsworth's genetics.
Right.
Even with all the vitamin gummy bears in the world.
It's all about finding what works for you and celebrating the diversity of human bodies.
Exactly.
That's such a great message. This conversation has really given me a lot to think about, and I'm sure our listeners are feeling the same way.
It's been a fascinating deep dive, and I think it raises some really important questions about the messages we're consuming and how they shape our perceptions of ourselves and others.
Absolutely. And on that note, I think it's time to wrap up this part of our deep dive.
Sounds good to me.
We'll be right back with the final part of our exploration, where we'll unpack some key takeaways and leave you with some final thoughts to ponder. All right, so we're back for the final part of our deep dive.
Yeah.
Into this whole world of superhero physiques. And, you know, I've been talking about steroids and actors and all that.
With pressures.
Yeah, the pressures. And I think it's been really eye-opening so far.
Definitely.
But as we wrap things up, I want to go back to something PewDiePie mentioned in his video.
Okay.
It's about, like, the subconscious influence these images can have on us.
Ah, that's so true.
Like, even if we know logically that these superhero bodies are often achieved with, you know, steroids or other enhancements, just seeing those images over and over can still mess with how we view our own bodies.
It's like we internalize those ideals without even realizing it.
Yeah, and then we start comparing ourselves to these, like, impossible standards.
Exactly, and that comparison can be so damaging. You know, it can lead to feelings of inadequacy, body dissatisfaction, and in some cases, even body dysmorphia.
And those feelings can be especially intense for, like, younger viewers.
Oh, absolutely.
Who are still figuring out their sense of self and their body image.
It's so important to, like, foster a healthy body image and self-esteem from a young age.
Yeah.
And I think that involves having, like, open and honest conversations about these issues.
We need to give young people the tools to, like, critically analyze the media they consume.
Yes. Exactly.
And to understand that what they see on screen isn't always real.
And to, like, define their own standards of beauty and strength, rather than letting those standards be dictated by, you know, Hollywood or social media.
It's about empowerment, right? You know, one of the most powerful things we can do is, like, broaden our definition of what it means to be strong and heroic.
I love that.
It's not just about, like, physical strength.
Right.
It's about courage, compassion, resilience, intelligence.
All of those things.
All those qualities that make someone a true hero.
Yes.
Both on screen and in real life.
And if we start celebrating those qualities alongside diverse body types, it just creates a much more, like, inclusive and empowering representation of heroism.
Imagine a world where superheroes come in all shapes and sizes.
Right.
Reflecting, like, the beautiful diversity of the human experience.
That'd be amazing.
That would be such a powerful message to send to young people.
Absolutely.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you, the listener, with a final thought.
Okay.
What qualities do you admire in a hero? What would a more realistic and diverse representation of heroism look like to you?
Those are great questions to think about.
And remember, true strength comes in many forms.
Yes.
Both physical and mental.
Be kind to
Be critical of the messages you consume, and never be afraid to challenge the status quo.
Thank you for joining us on this exploration into the world of superhero physiques and the truth behind those larger-than-life transformations.
It's been fun.
We hope this deep dive has encouraged you to think critically about the images you encounter.
Yeah.
And to embrace a more inclusive and empowering definition of what it means to be strong and heroic.
Absolutely.
That's it for this deep dive. We'll catch you next time.